Road near Flat Shoals Road here in Clayton County, where investigators have been on the scene now for hours. There are a lot of Georgia State Patrol troopers. We know GBI is also on scene after what sounds like started as a pursuit that ended with a crash with shots fired. Let's show you video from overhead within the last few hours. We understand that this involved started trying to stop a possible suspect related to a homicide from yesterday on Kendrick Road in Clayton County. We told you about that yesterday. That involved the Clayton County Sheriff's Office and GSP, that pursuit today, that then ended in a crash with shots fired. As you mentioned, a canine from Georgia State Patrol was shot, was airlifted from this scene and taken to an animal hospital in Sandy Springs. We are working to learn a condition of that police dog right now at 4 o'clock. The condition of the suspect involved in the incident here with law enforcement is unknown at this time. We are reaching out to all of the law enforcement agencies involved in this. We understand the update will be coming from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation at some point. We are working to learn more from them. Now, this all unfolded right in front of West Clayton Elementary School. It was put on lockdown briefly this afternoon, but parents were able to come here and pick the children up. Dismissal went on as scheduled. There was no incident with the children, but you can imagine it was a bit of a chaotic scene for a while. Parents showing up, a lot of police and the tape in front of the kids' school, but they were able to get by that yellow tape and safely remove the children from West Clayton Elementary School. That is the very latest here on the scene. Again, a lot of Georgia State Patrol troopers, the GBI here with their investigators as we work to learn more about the condition of the suspect involved in this incident with investigators, and also that condition of the GSP dog that was transported to an animal hospital in Sandy Springs. We will stay out here and bring you the very latest as we learn more. I'm Megan Packer, live in Clayton County, Atlanta News First.
And as you just heard from our reporter Megan Packer, who has been at the scene for quite some time, the suspect, this is still very much an ongoing investigation on Riverdale Road. We do know that a canine was shot. He was transported to Blue Pearl Animal Hospital where care and treatment continues. Now, we do know this is a very active investigation. This, what I'm showing you here, is actually a chopper feed from a few hours ago, just showing a white vehicle and a Georgia State Patrol vehicle. We do know the canine that was injured was a Georgia State Patrol canine. We are working with our crews that are on scene, both Megan Packer and our reporter Tori Cooper, who's outside of the animal hospital. We're actually going to touch base with her here in a couple minutes. Actually, just to check in on any news regarding that canine. But what we do want to tell you about this active scene, here's a live picture for you, is that if you're crossing through Riverdale Road right now, you are not going to be able to get very far. The road has been closed off as this investigation is very much continuing for the next few hours. The best thing you can do right now is just avoid the area, let law enforcement do their job. Of course, Georgia Bureau of Investigation is also on scene. You're going to want to look at some alternate routes if that is part of your commute home or somewhere you were planning to traverse through. I did want to give you a little bit of background about the murder suspect, something that I actually touched upon when we first started talking here. This all started actually Thursday. We learned that a man was found dead inside a home on Kendrick Road. Now, obviously, in those types of situations, police do everything to locate the suspect or the person responsible for an incident like that, and that is very much what Clayton County Police were doing. And on Friday, they located who they say was the suspect in the Thursday incident, and that is what led to a standoff near Flat Shoals Road and Riverdale Road with that person in question. Now, we do know at this time the investigation is ongoing. Of course, we know that there was an elementary school nearby, actually West Clayton Elementary, that was put on a precautionary lockdown just with the shooting that took place and the standoff that was ongoing during school hours. We know since then that lockdown was lifted. The children and staff in the area were allowed to go home at the normal dismissal time, and we even spoke to some parents who said this was an intense end to the week, but they were relieved that, of course, everyone at the school was safe and they were able to pick up their children with no problems. And there's that closer picture for you from our Atlanta News First crew, just showing you the amount of law enforcement on scene conducting this investigation. Like, as I told you before, Georgia Bureau of Investigation was on there, and Clayton County is still on scene investigating. I'm actually going to work to connect with our reporter Tori Cooper, who's outside of Blue Pearl Animal Hospital. Hopefully we can get you some updates on that canine. And we're going to be connecting with our reporter on scene outside of Pearl Animal Hospital, Tori Cooper. Tori, you have been out there for quite some time. Any status update on the condition of this canine?
Maria, we all want to know how the canine is doing, and you can imagine why, because the scene in Clayton County was very chaotic. Now, I did have a chance to go a bit closer to the Blue Pearl Pet Emergency Hospital, try to get some of those answers, and it is no shock that they pushed me back to the sidewalk. They told us, hey, right now, we're really just focused on making sure that the officers, the GSP officers, can be alongside the canine right now. This is a very intense moment for them, and they just want to make sure that their focus is on the canine rather than addressing the public at this time with any updates on how the canine is doing. Of course, if we get any updates, we will share it with you. But I want to paint the picture for you a little bit, Maria, and our audience on all of our other platforms, so I can show you just what it looked like out here when this was all transpiring, the moments that that helicopter landed on Abernathy Road. Now, the Sandy Springs Police Department jumped in to help shut down Abernathy Road so that the helicopter could land right outside of the Blue Pearl Pet Emergency Hospital. And then at least 5 officers alongside 2 medical personnel rushed the animal on a stretcher into the emergency room so that they could treat the animal as fast as possible. We did share that video with our viewers. We also have some more video on the ground out here showing the officers circling the area. It was pretty intense. There were some workers out here as well from inside of the emergency room. They talked about what they saw, and again, they were just all really hoping that this animal was going to be okay. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that, and hopefully the police department and the Georgia State Patrol will be able to provide some more updates soon, but we're going to be out here until we get those updates.
Tori, I want to thank you so much. I know that was a Georgia State Patrol canine. Did you see any of those officers near the Blue Pearl Animal Hospital just waiting for word about the condition of their canine?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Maria. There was at least one Georgia State Patrol officer out here. You could tell he had a bit of emotion going on for himself because, you know, he just walked out of the emergency room when I saw him, and, you know, I quickly said, hey, you know, how's the canine doing? And you could tell he was a little shaken up, to be frank. That's how the emotion was coming off. You can imagine that the staff, the emergency personnel really wanted to make sure that that officer had some time to himself in his vehicle to process just some of the stuff that's going on right now. So there was at least one officer out here, but we imagine they're actually all inside right now because that's really where they're focusing their attention. They're not really outside of the emergency room. They're all inside right now, and we're only a few feet away.
Tori, thank you so much. Please stay safe out there and appreciate any information that you pass our way. Let's get you back out.
Thank you, Maria.
Let's get out to this live scene. I want to make sure I show you everything that we are looking at this very moment. This is a shot from our reporter Megan Packer. You can see Georgia Bureau of Investigation on scene. You can see Clayton County Police as well, Georgia State Patrol officers. In addition, this is really an investigation that is going to go on for quite a while. You talk about a standoff that was going on for some time, but I wanted to focus your attention on the canine for a moment. This is still very much a canine officer, as you heard from our reporter Tori Cooper, one that meant a lot to the Georgia State Patrol. Look at this video that we actually got showing the moment that that canine was brought to Blue Pearl Animal Hospital. I'm going to play this for you here. And there you see that canine officer, of course, being brought out. Animal hospital staff coming up to the animal, making sure that they are assessing his condition right away. Really just a difficult thing to watch. And you can imagine the urgency from those officers to get that canine treatment right away. Back out now to this live picture along Riverdale Road. Again, if you know somebody who is passing through this area, if you are someone who was planning to pass through this area, best to find an alternate route. This road has been closed off. An investigation is going to continue. I'll be going through a little of what we know at this point. Of course, you can imagine those officers and members of law enforcement are very much occupied with the investigation that is being conducted on Riverdale Road. So we can only give you the information that we have from them confirmed, as well as what our reporters, Tori Cooper and Megan Packer, are gathering from the scene. We are in communication with Clayton County Sheriff's Office, with Clayton County Police Department, with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and other people that were tied to this standoff for more information about who the murder suspect was, the condition of this canine, and just everybody involved. We want to make sure you have the latest information. So let's go through some of that. This all started, mind you, on Thursday night actually, is when we first reported this to you on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. That is when we heard from Clayton County officials, police officials, that they found a man dead inside a home on Kendrick Road. That was still very much in Clayton County. Now, the investigation began right there on Thursday night. They immediately began looking for the suspect they believed was connected to this incident on Kendrick Road. They say they found that alleged suspect on Friday, and that is what led to a standoff near Flat Shoals Road and Riverdale Road. That's the road that you're looking at right now where this investigation is ongoing. So from that moment that they located who they say was the suspect in the Kendrick Road incident to now, to 4:12 p.m., where this investigation is ongoing, where this road is blocked off and a canine has been shot. That is where we are at this current time. Sandy Springs Police Department say the canine belonged to the Georgia State Patrol. Of course, we heard from our reporter, Tori Cooper, who said there was a Georgia State Patrol officer who was at Blue Pearl Animal Hospital, what you're looking at right there, another live picture for you. And he was emotional, he was distressed. This was a fellow officer, even if it's a canine, and that is some of what was said, that this was a canine that was close to the Georgia State Patrol, and of course they are monitoring the condition and getting any updates to us as soon as they can. So for the time being, we're going to check in with our Atlanta News First team, see if we can get you any of the latest updates. I'm going to keep this live shot here for you so you can see where they are in the investigation. We'll monitor when the roads will be open, but for the time being, the word we have from officials is this investigation on Riverdale Road is ongoing. So you're going to want to find some of those alternate routes if you are planning to move through that area. I know some of you in the comments are asking more about the canine involved in this incident. We know that canine belonged to the Georgia State Patrol. We actually just spoke, if you missed it, to our reporter, Tori Cooper, who is outside of Blue Pearl Animal Hospital. That's the live picture I'm showing you, by the way, of the hospital where treatment is ongoing. We know from officials that the canine was shot. He was transported, as you saw in that helicopter video, by helicopter to the Blue Pearl Animal Hospital. We are working to learn the most recent condition of this canine. We know at the moment from speaking with our reporter on scene, Tori Cooper, that the canine belonging to the Georgia State Patrol, we saw a Georgia State Patrol officer come out of that treatment area and he was emotional, of course. We didn't get too much of a chance to speak with him, but from looking at him, there was a distress in his face, and that's what essentially our reporter described to us. Now, we are working to learn the condition of the canine. For the time being, I want to take you back out to Riverdale Road. This is actually what it looked like a few hours ago. That's a more active shot for you from our Chopper 46, showing a Georgia State Patrol vehicle colliding with a white vehicle. Now, we are working to get details about how that's connected to this standoff and this investigation, but this all happened along Riverdale Road near Flat Shoals Road, where the road currently remains blocked off. You are not going to be getting through that area while this investigation remains ongoing. Now, Georgia Bureau of Investigations is on scene assisting Clayton County Police, assisting the investigation and also conducting their own due to the involvement of the canine, and we are working to get more information from them as well. So as soon as we hear anything, we will be the first to let you know on here and on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. But for the time being, what we can tell you is Riverdale Road remains closed. The investigation remains active, and we are working with our crews on scene to learn the condition of the canine that was shot. By the way, if you have questions about this ongoing investigation, this coverage that we've been bringing to you, please comment them below. We are working on getting you those specific questions answered. I know a couple people were asking more about this suspect that we keep bringing up, but we do know at this time the suspect is not an active threat to the community. That is the latest on what we know from officials, but it's all coming down to their word saying this is an ongoing investigation. That's as much as they can tell us, but at this time, the suspect is not an active threat to the community. Hey, here in about 5 minutes, we're going to take you back out to our reporters who are at the scene, both Megan Packer and Tori Cooper. Now, Megan is here at this shot on Riverdale Road that we're bringing to you, where investigators are conducting an ongoing investigation into a standoff with what they say was a murder suspect that they were actually trying to locate since Thursday night. And of course, our Tori Cooper is outside of the animal hospital where we are monitoring for updates of the Georgia State Patrol canine that was unfortunately shot in the line of duty. Now, we are going to be hearing from them here at about 4:30. If you are going to be just joining us, we will go ahead and recap the latest on what we know following that, and of course, keep you updated on anything new that we learn. But here at about 5 minutes, we will be able to hear from both of those field crews. And if you're just joining us now, we are taking you back out to a live view of Riverdale Road where an investigation remains ongoing. Now, we are following any updates that we hear about the status of this canine. We were trying to connect just moments ago with Megan Packer and Tori Cooper. We were unable to, but we will be reaching out to them in our newscast throughout the evening hour as we follow this story. I want to tell you about our Atlanta News First app. That is an app that will send you any major breaking news alerts, especially for a story like this that's developing, directly to your phone so you don't miss a thing. Recommend installing that app. Or you can go to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, where we'll have the latest information on this story. Again, that's atlantanewsfirst.com. We will continue to monitor this on our newscasts, on our digital platforms, and bring you any updates that we receive.